Everybody loves lessons from the screenplay, but not a whole lot of people know about the origins of this YouTube channel. This channel that is dedicated to the craft of screenwriting with 1.32 million subscribers is arguably one of the juggernauts in the field of cinema-related video essays on YouTube. However, I know this channel from something else. Something that its creator, Michael, did before making all of this.
It was 2015. I just returned back from college, having some lunch and exploring YouTube for some surreal short films. Now, I'm not gonna go on in this tangent about what surrealism is and what is its origins, but I'm just gonna say that during that period of time, I was really fascinated by surrealist paintings, photography, and short films. In 2015, there weren't a whole lot of surrealist short films on YouTube, so it really piqued my interest when I saw this. So I watched it and it kind of blew my mind.
The short film starts with a man named Adam waking up at the ground of his childhood home. He finds his girlfriend named Hannah next to him on a swing set, and then a very weird conversation ensues between them.
This is a dream. It must be.
Whose dream?
Mine, I guess?
And who are you?
I'm Adam.
No, you're not. Not anymore.
Then who am I?
You're who you've always been.
I don't understand.
Wake up. Well, maybe it's not a dream.
Fun fact! The title of the short film, Anamnesis, means the remembering of things from a supposed previous existence. This piece of information sheds a lot of light on this particular conversation and kinda reveals a twist in the end. Anamnesis also means a patient's account of a medical history, but that comes into play later on.
Suddenly, Hannah gets disturbed by a bottle of water that gets knocked to the ground. The sky becomes cloudy, and she starts urging Adam to run away while she makes a door out of a chalk drawing. And then the door gets created. From this point on, the plot of the whole short film becomes Adam entering different parts of his memories that reveal different aspects of his character through these doors that are made out of different objects that are in those areas while being stuck by this fat guy in glasses. I really don't want to spoil the short film any further. However, I have to say some of the motives in this short film are liquid pouring onto the ground that forms the patterns, the number 8121, and this fire signal thing.
All of this gets explained in the end, which I'm absolutely not going to spoil. So please go watch this short film.
I would also like to point out this boss character that Adam encounters. Just remember him for now, he becomes relevant later on. This is one of those short films that should be viewed at the very least twice, just to notice some of the foreshadowing. And I also have to mention how freaking gorgeous the cinematography is. There's also this very great one-er in the middle of the short film that enhances this feeling of confusion, impossibility, and stress in the viewer. One of the interesting things about this whole short film is that it was apparently inspired by a set of constraints that were set by the viewer of this channel. This makes it all very impressive because this short film is actually the pilot episode of a miniseries that these creators made.
That's right, there is a larger picture. And even though this whole project was created out of audience constraints, it leads to bigger things. This miniseries follows 4 seemingly unrelated characters.
However, out of all of these characters, there is none more elusive than Vera. Vera is this hacker girl who installs illegal software on flash drives and sells them out of her apartment. This character really reminds me of Lisbeth Salander, but the thing is, Vera is far more grounded and vulnerable compared to Lisbeth, especially since she's haunted by the nightmares of her younger self being stalked by what is essentially Slender Man throughout the series. Speaking of nightmares, let's talk about the next main character, Noah. Noah is a pianist who seems to be stuck in a loop. His story more resembles a conventional surreal film. Noah is working on a minimalist piano piece that he just cannot finish for whatever reason, no matter how much he tries. Every day, his lovely ginger wife bakes him cookies and then leaves home for some mysterious reason. The only other activity that Noah can do is to walk along the foggy beach near his home that is so empty and dreamlike most of the time. As time goes on, more and more strange and unexplainable stuff starts to happen around him. Early on, Noah meets with another main character of this miniseries, Sean. Sean is a secretary to a psychiatrist and has learned to lucid dream. Now, if you did what I told you and remembered the boss character from the short film, you would realize by now that the filmmakers have essentially pulled the Sopranos. In the TV series Sopranos, the showrunners liked one of the background characters so much that they recast that person again in a bigger role later on in the series.
As for Anamnesis, apparently the filmmakers liked the actor for Adam's boss so much that they casted him again in the role of Sean. Or it could have been that they had no other option. Or it could have been that Adam's boss and Sean are the same person. I'm going to elaborate on this more later on, but speaking of Adam, the final character that we have to talk about is Hannah, Adam's girlfriend.
Her main story involves with the events that happen at the end of the short film, so I won't go into them. All I have to say is that her storyline more resembles a detective story, and we see aspects of her life that were not shown in the short film with Adam's story.
Some of the motifs in this miniseries are coffee and water,
with coffee symbolizing life and the waking world, while water symbolizing dreams and death.
Now, do you remember that I said that the name Anamnesis has a second meaning, which is a patient's account of a medical history? Well, something that is shared between all of these four main characters is that they are all suffering from some kind of mental problem.
Noah is having a writer's block, while Vera is obviously haunted by something traumatic that happened in her childhood, which causes her to have her nightmares. Also, it gets revealed that Hannah has been on some kind of pills that were for some mental health problem that she had in the past. Sean is possibly the healthiest of these characters, but it also revealed that he is also using the same pills as Hannah.
If you try to look up the miniseries and even the short film that inspired it, you would notice that they are advertised not under surreal subgenre anymore, but rather under sci-fi. I know that the short film and the miniseries were highly inspired by Inception, which is a sci-fi film, but there aren't a lot of sci-fi elements in Anamnesis. Now, you can argue that the miniseries is sci-fi due to this one small element that I'm not going to spoil, and also due to the fact that it's following a storytelling logic rather than a dream logic. But the thing is that the original short film has absolutely zero sci-fi elements and does follow a dream logic rather than a storytelling logic. So why is it not being advertised under surreal genre anymore? I think a lot of it is due to the fact that the filmmakers didn't want any potential viewers to read the word surreal next to the title of the short film and instantly think about the weird black and white film about the guy with the messed up hairdo that they had to watch back in college. Another complaint that I have is the soundtrack. It's not bad and it does convey emotions, but when everything else is so fucking top notch, I really wish the soundtrack was cool too.
Also, I don't want to spoil the story too much, but the miniseries reveals new aspects of Adam's life that we never saw on the OG short film, which was all about exploring the key memories of Adam. So why we never saw those memories? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, you would think that the miniseries would explain that, and here's another big fat fucking problem with the miniseries. It's not finished.
That's right, only the first season of the miniseries is out. And even though a whole lot of the questions that arose from the start of the miniseries were answered by the end of the first season, a whole lot of the key questions are still not answered. And it is more than likely that it's never going to be finished due to the fact that the channel has been untouched in all of these years, and one of the key people behind this project is exploring newer, greener pastures right now. I think I even at one point messaged the creators of this channel on Facebook and they responded back that they can't finish it anymore because they have no money. So yeah, take that Half-Life 3.
And it's so sad because there is so many theories behind the story of Anamnesis. For example, I think Sean is actually Adam's previous boss, and later on, we could have seen how he ended up as just some secretary and how he's going to deal with the fact that his treatment of Sean kickstarted the whole events of the story. This whole miniseries actually inspired me to create my own miniseries, Passerby, which I uploaded its first episode, and I urge you all to watch it.
In conclusion, I want to say that please go watch this miniseries. Hopefully by doing so, the creators will bring back this project. Or they can propose it to HBO as a TV series. However, I want to say that surrealistic films and short films matter, and please support those. Don't be scared by them, because at the end of the day, you don't know what dreams you're gonna find in them. And cut!